What if you woke up one day and discovered that overnight you became one of the fastest, strongest, and most intelligent people on the planet? What would you do first? What if I told you there was a catch? You couldn't do what you wanted, you had to do what someone else told you to do instead. This is Nihilego, and it can seemingly fuse with people and Pokemon and control them to act in ways they ordinarily wouldn't. What if this were possible? What if you were being mind controlled to watch this very video right now? According to the Ether Foundation, these are the first of the so-called Ultra Beasts to have been discovered. They evolved in Ultra Deep Sea, one of the dimensions of Ultra Space, to parasitically control their hosts with an intensely stimulating neurotoxin. They have been seen to travel between their home world and ours through interdimensional rifts called ultra wormholes. Their controlled hosts lose their ability to control themselves, causing them to override safety limits and reveal their maximum physical and mental abilities to perform the will of the parasitizing Nihilego. Nihilego prevents their hosts from escaping by engulfing their heads in a glassy orb. Yet, they can release their hosts at any time, which places the victim in a critical condition due to the residue of potent neurotoxins and the shock of the separation. This Pokemon prefers to control those who are mired in negative emotions, which has led many to believe that their neurotoxins can somehow transmute negative emotions into happiness and pleasure. Though they seem only capable of self-preservation, they may also be able to heal others and cause illusions. Has anything been discovered or invented that can control the mind in such a powerful way? Could mind control have the power to heal and create illusions? And, a spoiler alert, what if I told you all this was already possible? Before we get into the questions, I have to show you this. Ants normally work together, but this one seems to have gone rogue. Why? Well, its body has been hijacked by the parasitic fungus Ophiocordyceps unilateralis to do its bidding. Literally, the fungus penetrated its exoskeleton and now consumes its insides. The little insect is forced to climb a tree and lock its jaws permanently on a leaf. This lock is known as the death grip because the fungus that was controlling it all along finally kills the ant. Lastly, the fungus sprouts from the ant's head, so it can eventually be dispersed by the wind and infect even more ants. This is one kind of mind control, but it's not the only one. This dazzling creature is Ampulex compressor, also known as the emerald cockroach wasp. Since it is a wasp that is emerald in color, and it has a relationship with cockroaches. Instead of going inside a cockroach though, the emerald cockroach wasp injects a special venom into its victim that deletes the cockroach's desire to escape. This is somehow scarier because the cockroach can still move if it wants. The catch is, it has lost its ability to want anything anymore. In other words, the cockroach becomes a living zombie that obediently follows the wasp to be devoured by it. This is exactly how Nihilego control people, but we aren't even done yet. This is our first reality check. Mind control absolutely exists in nature. Psychedelics are a category of drugs that seem to expand consciousness by strongly activating a subtype of the receptors for serotonin. This results in more frequent nerve signals. Even neural networks that wouldn't otherwise talk to each other start communicating. While all this happens, there is a lack of control by different regions of the brain, such as the prefrontal cortex, on the regulation of the firing of the nerve signals. LSD is probably the most well-known psychedelic, but there are more such as psilocybin mushrooms and DMT. Also, serotonin is more important than most realize. It doesn't tell the brain what to feel. Serotonin tells the brain how strongly, how flexibly, and how selectively to think, feel, and perceive information. Many people think serotonin is responsible for sensations of pleasure and satisfaction. This is only a side effect of normal elevated levels of serotonin. Rather, serotonin regulates the signal strength of certain neural networks. In this way, people who use drugs like LSD can cause them to behave as though they had no self-control. Perhaps, if people were not so conscious about how they look in the eyes of others, we would be just as feral as Nihilego forced people to become. In that case, our next reality check is this. Even certain chemicals can control us. More technically, they can change the way we experience reality in powerful ways. What if we didn't even need to take drugs or become poisoned to achieve mind control? Try this now. This is a safe way to experience a psychedelic effect right now without the use of drugs or equipment. Ensure you are in a comfortable and safe environment. Sit or lie down. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Out through your mouth for 6. Don't pause in between. Keep doing this for about 60 seconds. Let go of your thoughts and begin to notice what your body feels like. What emotions do you feel? Just notice them. Don't think about why these emotions are there. How does your body feel? Notice any sensations in your body. Notice the ones that come and go. Notice the ones that linger. After 1 minute, return to normal breathing. After 1 minute, return to normal breathing. If you feel clearer, calmer, or more present, this is the healing power of breath work. It works because slowing your exhale softens the brain's control systems, making sensation and emotion reveal themselves safely and restoratively. So, we breathe life to our final reality check. Convenient protocols such as simple breath work can be used to experience some semblance of mind control, complete with the healing properties Nihilego have. Nihilego are certainly most like the wasp. Yes, they are. They are clearly like jellyfish as well, though. In fact, they probably mostly resemble the floating bell. Floating bell? Yes, this is generally the name of the jellyfish. Its species is Phylorhiza punctata, and it literally looks like a reception bell floating in water. Jellyfish like this, or the Portuguese man o' war, use venom to paralyze their prey. Nihilego may use the venom to target brain chemistry instead. It would work by Nihilego latching onto a victim's head. The Nihilego can change the mechanical properties of a spell at will. The bell first would be flexible to make a subtle seal around the person's head. Then it would become hard to prevent escape. Meanwhile, its tentacles would be right next to major neural circuits and blood vessels at the back of the head and neck. This would allow the Nihilego to deliver neurotoxins that have specially evolved through barbs in its tentacles practically directly into its brain. This is exactly how the emerald cockroach was directly injects venom into the brain of cockroaches. The neurotoxin could be a cocktail of compounds that stimulate a massive release of stress hormones such as adrenaline that ramp up muscular power and alertness. Furthermore, dopamine will surge in a way that is akin to snorting cocaine. That would make this victim feel like they have limitless energy. At the same time, the fear response would be greatly reduced and any self-control system would be shut down. In essence, Nihilego's toxins push the victim's nervous system into overdrive, maximum stimulation of strength and aggression circuits, and maximum inhibition of self-control circuits. So it's not that Nihilego are controlling their victims necessarily, but that the victims succumb to their primal instincts? Precisely. It's like if someone took amphetamines and LSD at the same time. Obviously, don't do that. There is a reason we did not evolve the ability to become superhuman or use 100% of our strength. If high amounts of adrenaline were to linger in the body for even a few minutes, it could lead to torn muscles and crippling exhaustion. Why do Nihilego do this? Self-preservation, perhaps. Nihilego are quite weak by themselves, relying on humans and other powerful Pokemon to remove obstacles or access resources, maybe sustaining their survival. Also, Nihilego may allow their victims to rest by reducing the potency of the neurotoxin to ensure that the victim doesn't die early from exhaustion. However, it should come as no surprise that people who are eventually freed from Nihilego require hospitalization for long periods. However, what if Nihilego were holding back all along? Suppose two Nihilego, each possessing a man, encountered each other. Now imagine watching this from a safe distance. The Nihilego unleash their most potent neurotoxins. In less time it takes to blink, the man strikes the chest of the other, shattering his ribcage, causing splintered bones to puncture his lungs. However, as if without noticing the mortal injury, the wounded opponent leaps into the air and kicks the head of the man, which flies off his neck along with the bulb of the Nihilego like a baseball hit by a batter. As soon as the decapitated man falls to the ground, the remaining Nihilego escapes with its host into an ultra wormhole, presumably to replenish its energy by feasting on the corpse. A common strategy employed by Nihilego would be to unleash its most powerful neurotoxin and then massacre dozens or hundreds of people with just one maximally empowered person. However, many innocent-looking people are powerful Pokemon trainers, so these massacre attempts are often quickly stopped. Still, the international police have legalized the execution of ultra beasts such as Nihilego that may cause grievous communal harm. Won't the Nihilego just keep coming as long as the ultra wormholes exist? You're right, and I will talk about this later. As long as just one Nihilego exists in the world, entire ecosystems could be affected, as the Nihilego could attach to one host, then kill itself and the others before attaching to another host and repeating the cycle. Unlike the parasites that I mentioned that normally can only attach to one host in its lifetime, Nihilego can switch hosts at will. Plus, we don't know when the Nihilego die because they haven't been observed to suffer from diseases or possess the ability to age. We don't even know if Nihilego have a natural predator. In addition, consider that the neurotoxins continue to linger in the critically weakened host after being disconnected from Nihilego. Of course, this would mean that the predators target this weakened prey, and that leads to accumulation of the toxins in the predator, leading to their premature death. Ultimately, this would result in local extinction events and the proliferation of Pokemon prey, which reduces biodiversity. What a world. Indeed it is. It's no wonder the international police have called Nihilego the most malevolent of Ultra Beasts. It sounds like it could be the most malevolent of all Pokemon. Why could Nihilego just use one host? Why did it need to evolve the ability to infect multiple hosts? Also, why is it even here? Well, why are we here? How is that relevant? No one species is inherently good or bad. After all, we are all part of one creation. It's not like Nihilego passionately hates us humans. They might not even know the difference between humans and the other Pokemon. Just like humans have invasive species in their home world, they have invasive species in ours. So, should that mean we are as malevolent as them? Oh yeah. I'm quite sure I read that humans stole the light from the one who gave it to them and blamed it when it tried taking it back. You see? Still, that doesn't answer my question of why they couldn't have just evolved like other parasites that only have one host in their lifetime. Must evolution be rational as well? Why is it that humans are the only species to have seemingly taken over the world? Why did we evolve such needlessly intelligent brains? But at least we don't kill other species for our survival. Who told you that? In 2024, the forests were losing an area equivalent to 18 football fields globally every minute. This is mostly due to global warming caused by human activity, intensifying and promoting wildfires worldwide. Also, due to global warming, is the loss in biodiversity in the ocean due to the death of corals. Okay, I think I get it now. But aren't we also trying to reverse all of these man-made natural disasters? Of course we are. However, at this rate, it is unclear whether we'll be able to recover or not. With the influx of data centers across America thanks to the advent of generative AI, the problem is only being worsened. Maybe Nihilego needs to target the people who are involved in such operations. Don't speak like that! Anyway, what would that achieve? Would they become some kind of super intelligent AI? Oh, just because they're a little bit more intelligent than the average person? Well, let me tell you what can make you a bit more intelligent. Going to the gym? Well, I surely can't argue with that. An otherworldly group of elite soldiers known as the Ultra Recon Squad arrived in Alola to warn the people that the reason the Ultra Beast suddenly became prevalent in the region was because the Blinding One. In time, the Blinding One will come unless stopped by an incredibly mighty Pokemon trainer. Conspiracy theory or not, many people are told to believe that Mega Zygarde will rise on that day to quell the forces of Ultra Necrozma, which is the name that the Blinding One has been given in mythical texts. Meanwhile, the ESA Foundation has developed and deployed technologies to detect the presence of ultra wormholes. When one is detected, an alert is sent to every Rotom phone in the area to stay vigilant and preferably indoors. The Foundation also created a device in collaboration with the Ultra Recon Squad that can expediently catch Ultra Beasts. It is not clear what should be done about these foreign Pokemon, if they should be called that. There would be a serious threat to ecosystems should they introduce unknown diseases, compete for resources, alter reality in some unpredictable way. This is why every year groups of researchers from Paldea, Unova, and Alola gather to discuss interventions for otherworldly phenomena. It seems like, for the time being, things are under control. Nihilego are a species of ultra beast that causes havoc by injecting a neurotoxin capable of making people behave erratically and giving them superhuman-like power. They are a serious threat, that's for sure, but what could have driven them to evolve such frightening abilities? Could there really exist a Pokemon that is more threatening and malevolent?